There's one clause buried deep in a term sheet that has ended more founder dreams than a failed product launch ever could, and most people sign right past it without blinking. We're talking about a provision so quietly powerful that even seasoned attorneys sometimes gloss over it until it's far too late. The clause is called a liquidation preference. And if you don't know what that means yet, buckle up, because this is the part of the venture capital world they don't put on the highlight reel. Think of it like a VIP line at a concert, except when the venue catches fire, the VIPs get the only exits, and you're left holding a ticket to nothing. For a long time, founders were riding a wave of frothy valuations and sky-high term sheets, and everybody was celebrating like the champagne was free. Then interest rates climbed, the easy money dried up, and suddenly those glossy deal terms started looking less like a golden ticket and more like a trapdoor. The psychological shift that happens when a founder finally reads the fine print is something between confusion and grief. And a lot of smart people have described it as the moment the dream becomes a transaction. Mark Andreessen once said that the venture business is about ownership. And he wasn't wrong. The question is just who ends up owning what when things get complicated. Liquidation preferences have been around since the early days of institutional venture capital in the 1980s. And they came with a reasonable enough logic. Investors wanted some protection on their downside before founders cashed out. But over time, especially in aggressive deal environments, those preferences mutated into 2 times, 3 times participating structures that could leave a founder with nearly zero, even after selling the company for what sounds like a big number. Here's where the historical irony really bites. Companies have sold for $50 million, and the founder walked away with less than a new car costs because a stack of preferred liquidation rights ate the entire return. We've seen this story play out in the 2008 era, the 2015 correction, and quietly again after the 2022 valuation reset. People think the danger is in building a bad company, but sometimes the danger is in building a good enough company, one that sells for a solid but not spectacular exit. A 2 times participating preferred on a $20 million investment means the investor collects $40 million off the top before you see a single cent. The misconception most founders carry is that they only need to worry about liquidation preferences if their company fails. And that is genuinely one of the most expensive misunderstandings in startup culture. The clause doesn't punish failure, it punishes moderate success, which is actually where most outcomes live. So what do you actually do with this information before you sign anything? You model every scenario, the base case, the good case, and the great case, and you see exactly what lands in your pocket under each one before your pen touches paper. Community wisdom from founder forums and deal attorneys all points to the same lesson. Negotiate the preference multiple first, and if you can't get it to 1 times non-participating, at least understand exactly what you're trading away. The practical move is to bring in a startup specialized attorney who has seen hundreds of term sheets, not just one who handles general contracts, because the language sounds similar, but the stakes are entirely different. Controlled risk here means understanding your dilution stack, your cap table math, and your likely exit range before you feel the urgency of a closing deadline. Discipline in this context looks like slowing down when everyone around you wants to speed up, because the excitement of a term sheet is designed sometimes intentionally to compress your thinking. Position size in venture terms means not giving away so much in early rounds that later rounds leave you economically irrelevant in your own company. The philosophical truth underneath all of this is that a signature is a strategy, and strategy without information is just hope dressed up in a blazer. Consistency means building the habit of reading every clause with the same energy you bring to building your product. You can absolutely get a fair deal, maintain a great investor relationship, and build something spectacular. None of this means venture capital is the villain of the story. It just means the founder who reads carefully is playing a fundamentally different and better game than the one who doesn't. The good news is that the information asymmetry is shrinking. There are open cap table tools, founder communities, and experienced operators who will walk you through term sheets line by line if you ask. Preparation is the only unfair advantage that actually belongs to you. Whether you're navigating contracts, building equity through real estate, or just figuring out your next financial move, check out our links in the description below. We can help connect you with real estate investing strategies, home contracting services, and trusted lenders to get you started.